The Merseyside Derby, a matchup that started in 1894 between Liverpool and Everton. It goes tomorrow. Pavlos is here to tell us exactly how to bet it. We also are going to discuss the Valero Texas Open. Some golf for you guys. Sean Alvarez and Nick Borrman are going to join us. They're going to give you a top matchup bet, a top prop bet, and a live underdog. Art DiCesare from the Westgate, for one of the best segments every single week, will be on. He is going to tell us exactly where all the money is going on the NBA tonight, on the NHL, on baseball, and most importantly, we're going to do a deep dive into the wise and smart action being placed on the college basketball Final Four. Andy Lang after that. We're going to end the show with the great Gianni The Greek. I'm Lawrence Pressman. You're watching WagerTalk Today, powered by WagerTalk Media. Let's get on with it. Pavlos Laguretos, how are you, my friend? What is going on in the wonderful world of Europe?
Doing great. We're actually doing better in the MLS than we do in Europe. Europe has been weird to bet on, in 2025, but the MLS is doing really, really well. 4-1 with those 4% MLS best bets in 2025 and 25 and 12 in the last couple of seasons. But we do have to shift our focus temporarily to the EPL because we had a huge derby. It's not in the terms of big teams, because it's a big team and a smaller team, but it's a very historic derby, obviously the oldest in the EPL, and there's always weird stuff happening whenever Liverpool and Everton meet. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. The match goes live at 3 p.m. Eastern today on a Wednesday. Now this is a very it's a lot of cards. Liverpool usually win. However, Liverpool, they're coming off a couple of bad results, and they actually left them trophyless. In fact, in their last match, they lost 2-1 to Newcastle in the EFL Cup final. That's a lost final. And prior to that, they also lost to PSG, and they were eliminated from the Champions League. And a couple of months ago, they were also eliminated from the FA Cup. So the only thing they got right now is the EPL. There's no other trophies to win, just the EPL. Currently, they're 9 points above Arsenal with a match in hand this match. So if they win this one, they're going to move, 12 points above Arsenal. It's really their title to lose. Now, Everton, they usually they're in the bottom half of the league table, struggling with relegation, although they've never been relegated from the EPL. Right now, they're going to try to play spoiler to Liverpool because, again, these are fierce city rivals, not as fierce as, let's say, AC Milan and Inter Milan, but Everton coming here to play spoiler, and they've been playing actually really, really well since the change in coach. They rehired David Moyes, who was he used to be there for many years. Since the change in coach, they're unbeaten. They only lost in the FA Cup to Bournemouth. In league play, they are unbeaten in 9 matches in the EPL. They had a 2-2 draw against Manchester United. They beat Tottenham, and they even had a 2-2 draw against Liverpool in the reverse fixture. And I was here to discuss that one as well. Now, this is a tricky game. No matter how you cut it, it could have goals, it could not have goals. Liverpool could win. Everton could go for a draw. I'm going to go with a player prop, and it's none other than Mohamed Salah to score any time. Now, FanDuel, they had the audacity to slap a plus 120 on Mohamed Salah to score any time. I'm all over that. It's actually a 2% play for my clients as well today. He scored 8 goals and 2 assists in, I believe, 12 matches against Everton throughout the years. He scored 9 goals in his last 8 EPL matches. He's having a career year for Liverpool. He scored 27 goals in league play. Only once in his lifetime he scored more goals in the EPL, back in 2017, I believe. He scored or assisted in 13 of 14 home matches. So the guy is having a tremendous season, and now they're playing against their arch rivals. I think Salah, who, by the way, is also the designated penalty kick taker. So if there's a penalty kick, and Liverpool, mind you, they're getting the most penalty kicks in the EPL this season, he's the one who's going to take it. So I like Mo Salah to score anytime, plus 120. If you shop around, the price is at even money, minus 120. Minus 120 is I think the lowest I could go, right? That's in my match parameters as well. So give me Mo Salah to score anytime, plus 120. Great price here.
It's so interesting, Pavlos, because, North Americans are used to 0-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 games. And we've got a bet on a guy to score a goal that really doesn't pay a lot of money, and this game could end up 0-0. So what I'm hearing from you is, and by the way you say his name is spectacular. What I'm hearing from you is there's really only one goal scorer on Liverpool, and if they're going to get one, it's going to be him.
Yeah, he's going to either score or assist. He's the focal point of this offense. The only thing that scares me a little bit about this bet is the fact that Liverpool's right back, who is also a great facilitator, is injured from this match, and we might see Mo Salah, take a more facilitating role, trying to assist the team more. But, the guy is always scoring against them. He's scoring at home. He's having probably the best career of the best season of his career. I think Salah is going to score. He's going to take at least 3 shots, maybe 2 on target, and at least one of them is going to be a goal.
Guys, Pavlos Laguretos joining us, one of the best soccer bettors on the planet, and obviously we have him on WagerTalk, and our team is just spectacular. Very few better at this sport than Pavlos. My brother, you've got a 1-year MLS pass for only $3.99. That's $399, and that's MLS. That's the Major League Soccer that happens in North America. It's $3.99, and you're killing it right now. You're 4-1 to start the season, 25-12 in your bigger plays in the MLS in your last 2 years. How many plays should the clients expect if they purchase this $3.99 package?
I load at least 2 or 3 plays per week, usually 2, and they're usually like 3-4%, some 5% in there as well, because we know this league and they have other leagues to play. They play midweek matches in other competitions, so we like to fade teams. We've been really successful with the MLS. Summertime is their best, actually my best time to make money, and it's all usually due to the MLS, because we find early teams that are underachieving but are better throughout the season. We find goals. We find not so many goal scorer props, but it's all about fading teams who have other competitions. For example, Inter Miami and LAFC, they're playing tonight. We're going to probably fade them on the weekend. But it's all about goals in this league, and we have a nice 4% best bet for the weekend. I think we might have a second one as well, but for now we have a rock solid 4% best bet. It's a same game parlay on Saturday's slate. We have 6 more plays under review. At least I think at least 2 of them will make Saturday's card as well. So yeah, 4-1 start in my 4% best bets in the MLS this season, and 25-12 over the last 2 years. So it's been going really well with those, and we keep pummeling.
Brilliant stuff. Blocked. One of our listeners in our chat room writes that Pavlos has the best beard and hair at WagerTalk. Firstly, I agree. His beard is freaking spectacular. Secondly, he's also the only one at WagerTalk that wears a Speedo in public. So I just wanted to get that out there. I know Sean Alvarez does wear Speedos from time to time, but he only wears them at home. We'll talk about that with him a little later. Pavlos, thanks for doing this, man. Really appreciate you taking your time. I know you're in Greece. I know the time change is tough. Thanks for doing this, brother, and keep growing that beautiful big beard. Pavlos Laguretos, everyone, an incredible soccer better. Make sure to take advantage of that promo. $399, no coupon code required, and you get his entire MLS season. Really quickly, everyone, welcome to the chat room. Really enjoy having all of you guys with us. If you guys have never watched this show live, our chat room is the best in the business. We've got incredibly talented sports bettors in there that constantly talk about the games we're discussing, plus more. It is worth taking your time out to enter that chat room on a regular basis. I mean, Bill, Javier, Block, JP, B Daddy, Titans, Paul Bowman, so many of you guys, so much talent in that chat room. So join us one day if you've never seen the show live. It's a lot of fun in there. Also, if you don't mind, take a second out of your day and hit that like button. It'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. And lastly, Ariel Epstein, the prop queen. Everybody knows who she is. Exceptional talent. She will be hosting Last Call on the weekends. That was confirmed by the great Kelly Stewart earlier today. So we're excited to have Ariel as the host of our Last Call show on the weekends. What a talented prop bettor. Looking forward to having her doing that, and also try get her on WagerTalk Today as well. I have a 5% play tonight in the NHL. I'm on a 7-1 run in the NHL. I'm the number one most profitable expert at WagerTalk in that sport this season. I do not have these 5% plays very often. I love the play tonight. Please take advantage of that. Let's get into some golf. We also have Andy Lang and Gianni after that. I did get word that Art DiCesare will not make the show today. Art's a busy guy, and, we're thankful to have him whenever he can get on. So it'll be some golf, and then Andy with some prop bets, and Gianni and I will go into the hoops card a little later. Stay with us all the way through to the end. Sean Alvarez and Nick Borrman, both at the same time. We rarely do this. Welcome, my friends. Let's start with you, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've, just to throw it out there, I've never worn a Speedo before, but if I do, it will definitely be in the comfort of my own home.
Yes. So I did wear a Speedo because I am South African, although I have officially denounced being South African. So I left there when I was 9, but prior to the age of 9, I Speedoed it. I will admit it. My 81-year-old father still wears a Speedo to this very day. He says he hates how the wet shorts feel against his legs. Anyway, not a sight anyone wants to see. Nick Borrman, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Doing great. 1 week to go. Masters week next week. Sean and I, Andy as well. Obviously super excited for that. So just one more week. Can't wait. And other than that, things are going good. I'll echo Pavlos, MLS, off and rolling again for me this year, going for 7 straight winning seasons, Prez.
Yeah, Nick's the number one most profitable expert in the MLS over at WagerTalk. Another exceptional soccer bettor. Man, I watched John Oliver last night. It's an old one from 2 weeks ago. He did a thing on sports betting. It's actually a great watch. One of the couple of takeaways I had was bet inside of your means, guys. If you have a VIP host with a sports book, you got a problem. If they're rolling out the red carpet at your sports book, you got a problem. If they're sending you to live events, you got a problem. So bet with inside your means. But the other thing I learned, Nick, was that ping pong is a highly bet sport. When are you going to be giving us some ping pong winners?
The only person I know that's good at ping pong is Forrest Gump. So I gotta start studying up.
Yeah, let's get into some golf, guys. Two of the best golf experts on the planet, and two great golfers at that. We'll talk about that in a sec. We have the Valero Texas Open this week. It's the tune-up round before the Masters, but tune-up, schmoon-up. There's a lot of money in play here, and these guys want to win. I'm going to go to you first, Sean. What is your best matchup bet for the Valero Texas Open?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it on the head. I mean, we have the biggest week in golf kind of coming up next week with the Masters. Like Nick said, we're all looking forward to it, but these players are looking forward to it as well, and they're going to try and gear up to be at their best going into Augusta. So I'm looking at, as far as my matchup, I really like Alex Smalley I'm not willing to get off that kind of bandwagon, if you will, with his 2 last missed cuts. He had a bad break on 18 2 weeks ago. Last week, it was really a span of 5 holes that made him miss the cut. He parred a par 5. He went he parred a par 5, went bogey, double bogey, parred a par 5, and that really just kind of took him out of it and led him to missing the cut with not making a lot of birdies coming down the stretch. The player that I have him matched up with is Ryan Gerard. We've seen him kind of vault up coming from the Korn Ferry Tour, and he had a really good performance last week with a 9th place finish at the Houston Open. But he really bleeds strokes around the green. He doesn't do a lot off the tee. He really depends on his wedge game, and I do think that we're going to see a little bit of a turnaround from Alex Smalley. He was playing really well, playing probably the best golf of his career going into those last 2 missed cuts the last 2 weeks. So, like I said, wants to ramp up his game a little bit going into this week. I'm not necessarily big on Ryan Gerard, so I'm going to play Alex Smalley at -115 tournament matchup over Ryan Gerard.
There we go. Alex Smalley over Ryan Gerard -115. Sean Alvarez's best matchup for the Valero Texas Open. Nick, what about you?
I went for this segment with a nationality prop, which is basically one player against anybody else from that country. So Tommy Fleetwood.
Maybe the wokest bet I've ever heard. But hey, let's make money. Let's make money with it. A nationality. What are you, Andy Lang?
Yep. Yes. This is a very popular market. You have Tommy Fleetwood. There's 2 options for him. You could do just top English player, or you could do top Great Britain and Ireland. I went with the latter, which is top Great Britain and Ireland. The difference is 7 players are in the English pool, and there's 10 in the Great Britain and Ireland. The additional ones are nobody to even be worried about. So quickly, the players he's facing, he's got Padraig Harrington, Paul Waring, Martin Laird, David Skins. Those 4 are immediate write-offs. They don't even play regularly on the PGA Tour. They're a combined 3 for 17 in cuts made this season. Matt Wallace, Harry Hall. Wallace 2 for 7 cuts made. Harry Hall's only got 1 top 25 and 3 missed cuts in his last 7. The biggest threats are Justin Rose, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Seamus Power, but there's no consistency on any of them. Justin Rose, he does have 2 top 10s. What? But he's got 3 missed cuts.
Finish. I was sorry about that. Sorry about interrupting. I was going to actually ask you about Matt Fitzpatrick. This is a guy that they expected a ton from moving forward. Nick, what has happened to him? Is it just his inconsistency? Is there a few majors still left in that bag?
Probably. Now, there's a reason, if you look back at history of golf, that very, very, very few people stay at the top for a long period of time. You're always going to get guys that peak for a year, maybe 2, maybe less, but to stay there year in and year out. And that's what Fitzpatrick did. He peaked a couple of years ago. He could get back to that level, but he's not playing there now. He's only got 2 top 25s this year. He's also got 2 missed cuts in 6 starts. So it's just the inconsistency factor. And then Seamus Power, similar. 3 top 20s in 8 starts, but also 4 missed cuts. It's like these guys either are going to be in contention or they're out of it right away. You compare that to Tommy Fleetwood. And I'll just quickly say Fleetwood, listen, he hasn't won yet on the PGA Tour. That's his downfall. He's not an outright guy that you want to bet, but his floor is pretty much better than all of these guys' ceilings. So since missing the cut at last year's Open Championship, Tommy's finished inside the top 25 in 15 straight starts between the PGA Tour and DP World Tour. And this year, his 5 PGA Tour starts is tied for 22nd, tied for 5th, 11th, 14th, 16th. He's steady. He doesn't get in trouble. He's going to be in that top 25 again. The only way we're going to lose this bet is if somebody has one of their best weeks of the entire year this week. And I just don't see that happening on a regular basis. So plus 175, Tommy Fleetwood over the rest of that pack.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Nick Borrman and Sean Alvarez joining us, 2 of the best golf bettors on the planet and incredible bettors. Who would win if you guys played a round of 18? Sean?
Well, I get better as the transfusions go down. So maybe the first 2-3 holes Sean's going to get me. Then as I'm turning on the third transfusion, lights out time.
Sean, you comfortable? You think Nick would take you?
I mean, he still technically works at a golf course. I do not. I was a lot better when I spent my lunch breaks on the range or on the putting green. I don't necessarily have that benefit now. So I think Nick's downplaying it a little bit. I think I would take Nick if I'm putting my money on it.
Wow. Well, can we make this happen? I mean, all Nick has to do is fly to Vegas. Let's go.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah, listen, I'd actually like to join you guys. I'm an 18 handicap. I will put my money down if you give me 29 strokes. Sean, you got a prop bet for us on Ryan Fox. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it last week with the field kind of being a little bit top heavy. And, we see that again this week with, the likes of Corey Connors, Tommy Fleetwood, Ludwig Oberg, and whatnot. But, after you get, away from the top 5 or top 6 golfers, it's not really a heavy field. And, I've been cutting my teeth on plus money, top 20, top 10 kind of odds. And I really like the way that Ryan Fox is playing. He finished a really good top 20 out with obviously a much better field in the Players Championship, followed it up with a T15 at Houston. Now, obviously we're back in Texas again this week. And this is the kind of golfer that just won't get in trouble. He's going to keep it safe off the tee. He's going to hit greens. He's going to 2-putt, and maybe it goes in. And if it doesn't, no big deal. He's not going to 3-putt. He's not going to miss a lot of greens. So while a lot of other people are going to, fire at pins and get themselves in trouble, I really like the way that Ryan Fox is hitting the ball, especially with his wedge game, that we see with this type of distance at TPC San Antonio. So I really like Ryan Fox, the way he's playing. I like getting plus 320 on a top 20 bet. Like I said, he doesn't have to win. He doesn't have to beat the likes of Tommy Fleetwood or Obear or Corey Connors.
Right.
Just kind of has to, play his game, get in that top 20. And, if I'm getting a little bit over 3-1, I do think that's a solid bet.
Yeah, well, personally, I just like that you threw a Canadian in there. Lee Hodges, Nick Borrman. So I've never heard of this Fox guy. I'm not a golfing. I can't watch people hit balls. It's so boring. But anyway, with that said, I love betting golf and I love playing golf. But man, do you watch all 4 rounds, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not entirely in full, but yeah, there's absolutely a couple hours each day I'm tuning into to it, especially for live betting. If you can tune in, Andy likes to do this and talks about it on our Tee Time show. If you can tune in into an early morning round and see how it's playing, and then try to live bet round scores in the afternoon,
really
a little bit of a you watch the guy struggle, or you watch him tear it up, and then you immediately go to the afternoon wave and you try to make your predictions.
Well, I tell you, I struggle to watch all 4 rounds of golf, but I do watch Sunday golf, and I obviously love the majors and especially the Masters. I really want to play there. Either of you guys had the pleasure?
I've been, but I haven't played.
No, Sean, no. Even with your connections, teaching Bobby Belford's son how to play golf, you still can't pull it off?
The saying goes, if you ever want to play Augusta, never ask to play Augusta. That's the first way to kind of be blackballed. So, no, I've definitely never played there. I know people that have played there, but I kind of obviously the invite was lost in the mail.
Yeah, so I know that the president of Augusta watches our show every single day religiously, normally live. Can you please send an invite to both Sean and Nick? I will happily carry their bags. Nick, Lee Hodges, you've got a top 20 finish for him at plus 225. Never heard of this guy either. Tell us why we should make this bet.
Yeah, Lee Hodges, top 20, 225. That includes ties. I always stress doing the including tie market. So when you finish tied for 17th with 7 guys, you're not getting chopped. You're getting paid in full. But going back to last fall, Hodges has missed just one cut over his last 10 starts, but has more than half, 6 of them to be exact, top 20 finishes, including a tie for 11th last week at the Houston Open. He's gaining strokes in all 5 measured categories. And this season, that's notable because he was horrendous last year with the flat stick as he lost strokes putting in 12 straight starts through the summer. This year, he's averaging plus 0.81 strokes gained putting per round, ranks 4th in this field. It's a remarkable turnaround, and I'm banking on him. Putting is all about just the belief and confidence in doing it. If he's playing that well or putting that well right now, that confidence is going to be there. So I'm banking on that continuing. His irons have always been solid. He gained strokes on approach in every start this season, and his driver, which is about average as far as distance goes, is extremely accurate, which limits his chances of making the big number. And that's where, a top 20 bet goes wrong when you all of a sudden make a double or worse in the middle of the round. As is usually the case, tee to green is very, very important this week. And Hodges, he's got it going on with his tee shot right now. He doesn't miss the fairways very often. He's not going to get into a lot of trouble. And with that putter going, drive for show, putt for dough, I think the top 20 is a very good chance to cash again this week. Plus 225 is awesome.
Nick, what do you have to promote for the clients?
Right now, we do have this week's PGA Tour pack up and available, but we will have a great promo next week for the Masters. So if you don't want to quite get involved this week, understood, but we do have that available now. And then I do have a end of the European soccer promo going on. It's basically a buy one, get 1 month free. The European soccer season ends May 31st with the Champions League final. So for $99, you can get from now until then, and that includes MLS. It's going to include all soccer. So it's not just Europe, but I'm just piggybacking on the European calendar date. So 2 months, all soccer, $99.
Sean, what do you have to promote?
I don't necessarily have anything to promote. We're up
That's
16
okay.
units on the PGA Tour season, so let's keep that going. We got obviously baseball started, and we're roughly around a month away from the Kentucky Derby. So obviously a big month with the Masters and the Kentucky Derby coming around the corner, whether you like horse racing or golf.
There we go. 2 of the best golfers around, and we still have more to discuss with both of them. Nick, I'll go to you first. Give me a long shot.
Bud Cauley, 50-1. Probably not a surprising pick if you're paying attention, but if you aren't, he's coming off another strong performance last week. He finished tied for 4th at the Valspar Championship, which followed an extremely impressive Players Championship, where he ultimately finished tied for 6th. Strong throughout the bag in those 2 events. His approach and putter really spiked. And that's going to likely have to continue this week to make some noise again, but I'm hopeful that it will. He's 5 for 6 in cuts made this season. Going back to the start of the fall season last year, he's 9 for 11. So depending on the price offered, I did look first thing this morning. It's around minus 200, so it's not that great, but it could be a good parlay piece. But betting on him just to make the cut is a decent option as well. But if you don't know Cauley's story, he missed he's been now back. He returned to the PGA Tour a year ago. So he's been back for a year, but he missed 3.5 years with injuries and personal issues. So obviously it takes a while to get back consistency, and it's taken a year to get to that level, but his best play is finally happening again now. And then when it comes to this event, in 6 starts at this event, while some go back quite a few years because of that hiatus, he does have 2 missed cuts, but he also has a tie for 10th and a tie for 18th. So he's got a little familiarity here, and he's playing his best golf of his comeback, let's say, right now. And at 50-1, great price. You can also look at the top 10 or top 20 to kind of back that up.
Sean?
Yeah, so I'm looking at a guy by the name of Rico Hoey at 70-1. I like the way he's playing. He just flat out can't putt. Obviously, he can putt a lot better than Nick and I being on the PGA Tour, but he really just has to stop the bleeding and with his putting game. And he did that in the Houston Open last week with, gaining almost 2.5 strokes on the field. He's really good off the tee, really good with his irons. And that's really just the only thing that he needs to iron out. And now TPC San Antonio is not, the likes of Sawgrass or Torrey Pines or PGA National. These are not, overly difficult greens, and with his wedge game, he really should kind of lean in that, 10 to 15 foot range, hopefully make a few putts. This isn't a tournament that usually is, a birdie fest where you need to be over or under 20 under to win this kind of tournament. So he doesn't need to go lights out. He just needs to hit his wedges, keep it in the fairway, and hopefully, some of these putts roll in, keep the 3 putts away. I really like him at 70-1. I love the way that he played, obviously in Texas last week, but he had that tied 33rd finish at the Players, and obviously that's a lot more of a difficult field than what we're going to see this week. So I like him at 70-1 to hopefully surprise a little bit of these top names up top.
Guys, I'm going to leave you with one last question, and I actually want the chat room to weigh in here and answer this. Once the show goes live, comment on this question. I'm curious what you guys think. I saw this on TikTok yesterday, and I really gave it a lot of thought. I told you guys I'm an 18 handicap in golf. That's probably it's good. It's in the grand scheme of things, it's decent. Can I win?
No,
yeah, I know.
I already know the question. You want to be put on the putting green on each green?
I went with no as well, Nick. So the question is, can I win the Masters only starting every hole on the green? If I start every single hole on the green at the furthest spot from the flag, can I win the Masters?
No.
To follow up on Nick, I'm going to go with a hard no.
So if I 3-putt every hole, that's a 54. That wins it. If I 4-putt every hole, I'm going to be close.
What's going to happen is you're going to putt off the green. It's going to happen on multiple times. And when that does, not only is it just going to go up a couple feet, there's a couple slopes where you're going to go down 70 yards. And now good luck trying to spin a wedge back up that hill, keep the green, and then continue again from there. You're all of a sudden going to be on the green and make it 10. And now you're playing yourself right out.
Okay.
Forget off the green. He's going to knock it in the water on 16.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's going to go off the water or off the green and into the water.
So we all agree, including me, that it is a no. Nick and Sean, thank you for doing this. We'll do this again next week for the Masters. Best of luck, everybody. Guys, real quick, again, I have a 5% play in NHL tonight. Please make sure to take advantage of that. And also, the blue line is up now. You can find that at WagerTalk TV. That's my new NHL show. Today we had Matthew Barnaby. Well, he's with me every day. He's the co-host. But we had Rob Ray with us, and Rob Ray was exceptional, absolutely awesome. On the show, we give out a pick on every single game on the board. Andy comes on and gives out a prop bet, and we really look at betting from a player's perspective. Are there bad off days? Are there letdown spots? Are there emotional wins and emotional losses? What happens on a back-to-back? Are the athletes actually tired or aren't they? What happens in the dressing room when a team is vying for the playoffs and then are out of it with 10 games to go? What's the vibe like? What's the energy like? These are the things that we discuss on the Blue Line to help us make better bets. So check that show out. As well, I co-hosted Puck Time with Carm today. That's up now. That show's awesome. Carm and Andrew are so good on that show. So make sure to check all of that out. Andy Lang joining us, and then we have Gianni The Greek. Andy, how are you, dude? I know you had a food poisoning yesterday. You feel better, right?
Yes, as we discussed, last week, actually, I was reading an article about how to do a 2-day fast or a 3-day fast, all the health benefits. So I'm already a day and a half through a fast. So I'm just going to keep going with it. So I'm going to try and do a 2 to 3 day fast. I'm very excited. And by the way, there's a big caveat with that Masters question. Are you allowed to practice?
Well, practice doesn't help me.
If you're allowed to practice and you have a caddy that knows those greens, yes, you could win. 100%. Absolutely. If you're going out with no caddy to help you and no practice,
caddy would be huge.
You missed the cut. Yeah. You I used to have a VIP at DraftKings. I don't anymore.
Oh, they got rid of
It's amazing.
Nice.
It's amazing what happens when you start winning. The true story.
Yeah.
His name was Josh. He's a great guy. If I should show you, if I text him now, I get a message that says he's on vacation. It's true.
That's beautiful. Congrats.
What happened to Matthew Fitzpatrick? This is a true story. After his big, huge season, in the off season, they put weights inside of his clubs just for training. And he started the season and they forgot to take the weights out. They didn't realize it till halfway through the season. And he has never been the same.
Are you lying?
No, that's a real story. That really happened.
God.
We were betting so much money against him because he was awful. No one could figure out why.
Wow.
And then halfway through the season, they realized they forgot to take the weights out of the inside of his club. And Prez, he has never returned to that form. Never gotten close. And I can confirm table tennis. Yeah, and I can confirm table tennis is a cash cow. I used to pay a guy $300 a month for Czechoslovakian table tennis. And he was so good, he had to stop giving out plays because he won so much money. He got all of us limited at all of our sports book. True story. His name is Mitch. You can find him on Twitter.
And you know what? I'm told Polish ping pong is a big deal as well in the betting community. We got to find Johnny Detroit. If you're listening, we got to find ourselves a ping pong expert. Hey,
no. They will get you'll win money short term. They will get your books limited. You do not want. There is a price to winning, and it is that you win short term. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I watched it happen with my own eyes. I played with him for 6 months. I won a ton, and then all of a sudden, those sports books I can't play on anymore.
Wow. Okay, brother. Let's get into some prop bets. You've got a few for us. I'll hand the mic over to you.
Let's go to the NBA. We'll talk OG Anunoby. Listen, if you've been following the Knicks and Anunoby, you know he's been on fire since Jalen Brunson is out. So we'll take him over 19.5 points. Over in 7 straight games without Brunson. He's averaging 35 minutes and 16.8 field goal attempts. He's shooting 49% from the floor, which is incredible, 42% from threes. He's making some free throws a game. And listen, the Cavaliers, this is not the juggernaut defense that we saw earlier in the season. They're kind of limping to the finish line here. 20th in defensive rating the last 10 games, and they give up 23.5 points to power forward. So look at Anunoby to go over. We'll go to the UFC. There's a really nice underdog I like, Robert Valentin over Torres Finney. This guy Torres Finney, Prez, he comes from Contender Series. He is, I don't know how to, he is one of the biggest guys in this weight class. He's short and a beast. He'll take you down and he'll pound you through the mat. But if you get out of the first round, he is exhausted and he has no energy left. He is an absolute gas bag. And Robert Valentin is a power puncher. This guy was so good on The Ultimate Fighter. He became a coach in the middle of his season. He was supposed to be a competitor. He was so good, They started letting him coach the people that he was fighting with. So Robert Valentin, all he's got to do is survive the first round. He's going to knock out Torres Finney in the second or third. Now, if he gets finished in the first, obviously, this bet is dead. But at plus 210, yeah, I love it. And then let's go to MLB. Nolan Arenado is off to a really good start. We'll take him over 1.5 hits plus RBIs plus runs scored. He's gone over in all 5 games. He's going up against Kikuchi as a starting pitcher. Kikuchi, 1 start this season, 6 innings pitched. He kind of got tuned up. 3 earned runs allowed, 5 hits. Cardinals have been putting up runs, and the Angels have not. The Angels have been giving up quite a bit of runs. So Nolan Arenado to have a good day at the plate.
Wonderful stuff, guys. Andy's got a 4% parlay up, 80 units of profit in parlay betting over the last 365 days. The best of the best, Andy Lang, everybody. Andy, thanks for doing this, man. Get over your cold, and we will see you tomorrow. Boom, Andy freaking Lang. Okay, guys, I just want to shout out to Val Kilmer. We heard this morning that Val passed. I'm 56 in May. People like Val have been around my entire life. We watched him as Jim Morrison on The Doors, as Batman a million years ago. Obviously, he was Ice or Man in Top Gun, and a guy that has just, been in and out of all of our lives for so many years. Horrible ending to his life. Throat cancer, never got over it. R.I.P. Val Kilmer. Gianni The Greek joining us, everyone. How are you, brother?
Never better, brother. 17 bets I placed already this morning, and the only thing I've released to subscribers are 3 Belgian basketball games. That was it. That seemed to be the strongest so far today. But I still got all day to help to confirm some of this.
Well, there you go, everybody. Gianni The Greek, #1 in Belgium basketball betting at WagerTalk.com. And I say that unequivocally without any information or facts.
NCAA men's. Look what I did in the NCAA women's tournament. Not only destroyed it, but last week in the Elite Eight, perfect 3-0 Sunday to finish the week. Like wherever the value is, that's what we're betting, man. No more just primetime stuff.
Gianni, I absolutely love the scruff, dude. Let's keep it, man. You look great, by the way.
Thank you. I'm taping tomorrow at UFC, so I didn't want to shave a little early, you know.
Well, I wouldn't even shave tomorrow, but I get it. Gianni, so you've got 17 bets you've already made. It would behoove me to ask you to run down all 17 of them real quick.
I'm all over it. I got you. Ready to go?
Go. Let's do it.
NBA 544 over 237 and 238 Atlanta Dallas, 546 over 229 230 Spurs Denver, and 548 over 217 17.5 New Orleans Clippers. Be very cautious on NBA up until the playoffs. They are just looking to take advantage of big middles that are opening up, and more importantly, take advantage of information of players sitting. So unless you have odds logic and get the info as quickly as they do, or even earlier than the books at sometimes, because I know I've beaten a couple of my credit shops because of odds logic. Stay away from basketball until the playoffs get here. Real quickly, college basketball, 670, Boise State. They got bet last night, -5.5, -6, -6.5. Then this morning, that wasn't enough. They bet them again, -7, -7.5, and -8. Books were going up in half-point increments, hoping they stop so they don't open up these 3- and 4-point middles because the games have been landing close. They also went over in that Boise Butler game, over 149.5, over 150.5. Last night, the first book that went to market. This morning, everyone else opened it up at 150. Excuse me. Last night, everyone else opened up 155.5. And that's when you saw some under money come in. That's why you're looking at 154.5. So somewhere in between there is where they think the line should be. Second game, Nebraska, Georgetown. Same thing yesterday, -6.5 and -7. This morning, they laid the 7.5. They laid the 8, the 8.5, the 9. Only at 9.5 did you see some resistance. Some Georgetown plus 9.5 money came in, but that was probably from the guys that laid the 6.5 on Georgetown. Also a little bit over at 152. Mets, another overnight that got bet, 175 and 180. Then this morning again, that wasn't high enough because they laid the 190, they laid the 195, did the same thing with the total. Went over 8.5 at even money, then laid juice to go over 8.5 today, all the way up to 115. Colorado, Philadelphia, under 7.5, up to -120 last night. No follow through this morning. So they were taking advantage of that key 7.5. Remember, the most important numbers when you're talking in MLB is 7, 9, and 11. Those are the numbers you pay attention to when it comes to totals. 906 Dodgers, -205, -210, -220 yesterday. Then this morning they hit it was -250 in the morning, excuse me. That's when they came in and took Atlanta plus 225. What a great bet. So you have the Dodgers -205 and -210 the night before. And you have Atlanta plus 225 this morning. Doesn't get any better than that. When you could scalp, why wouldn't you? Minnesota White Sox under 7.5 last night at -120. That's why you're looking at 7 even money today. Be careful of those 7, 9, and 11s. Yesterday, they bet Detroit from -105 all the way up to -150, 120, excuse me. Today, there was some take back at plus 115 on Seattle. So again, you got -105, -110 on one side, plus 115 on the other. What a beautiful world you get to live in where you could just scalp.
Yeah.
Angels, St. Louis over 7.5 and 8 yesterday, but that wasn't enough. They bet the over 8.5 again today. So they went from 7.5 to 8 and to 8.5. Maybe wins are going out. Finally, Toronto plus 119, plus 115, plus 110. That's why you're looking at 105 either way. And finally, in NHL, Carolina minus 160 yesterday, opened up 170 today. They laid the 70, laid the 80, and they laid the minus 190. So you see in hockey, they're moving 10 cents at a time, 15 cents at a time. In baseball, it's 5 cents at a time, a lot of those.
So I'm glad you actually brought up the Carolina hockey game, because this came out at minus 160, and now it's at minus 220. This is probably the biggest move across sports for today. And it's strange because they're playing the best team in the league, the Washington Capitals. I like Carolina here, Gianni. And my question to you is, because I feel at minus 160, Carolina was a great bet. I don't want people chasing lines, bro. I'm saying right now at minus 220, we're done. Like, no mas, we're off of Carolina. How do you attack something like that?
You can't bet it. Here's why. At minus 160, the break even is 61.5%. At minus 220, the break even is 68.5%, almost 69. So you lost 7.5% of implied win probability. They're rarely going to be that far off. And if they are, remember, we're paying a vig. We got to overcome that 4.5%. So you're telling me not only do you have to overcome that 4.5%, but you now have to overcome another 7.5%. So that's 12% in their favor. You got to let it go. Right. If you don't like the dog, I'm not forcing anyone to bet the dog, but if you don't like the dog, then you got to pass. Even if it cashes, even if Carolina goes out there and scores 6 goals in the first period, Prez, and you don't have to sweat it, it still wasn't a good bet. You can't be betting that late. Again, if you're only betting today, it doesn't matter. But if you're betting tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, you can't bet moves once they move. Implied win probability over 5%, because again, you got to add in that 4.5 that we're laying. So rarely are you ever going to find an edge that gives you above 10%. That's just unheard of. So that's why I say you got to leave those alone once they get away from you.
Gianni, any bets you've made on the Final Four?
No, here's where I'm sitting in the Final Four, Prez. I have 2 futures. I have Auburn at plus 550, and I have Houston at plus 750. Instead of bet, I put a small bet. I gave a 2% on Houston in the Elite 8, and I gave a 2% on Houston future in the Elite 8, because I said there's no way this team should be plus 750. If they win this game today, they could really compete with Duke. So I like where I'm sitting with Auburn and with Houston. I don't think both favorites get the job done. We're looking at 4 number ones. All 4 of those teams are number 1 seeds. I don't think we're going to get Duke, Florida final. I know that's what everyone wants to see, but usually a wrench is thrown in there. I think one of those dogs stick their head out. The one I really like, I haven't bet it yet, I'm hoping it gets bet up a little bit, is the Houston Duke under. You're looking at 2 top 5 defenses. I know we've seen scoring, but this game matters. You're playing for the championship game, and now you're in a new arena. You're going somewhere new for that Final Four, not where you were for a couple days prior.
And that's a huge point. Well, that's a huge point. In basketball, playing in a new arena is a big deal. It changes the sight lines. It affects your shooting. And what we saw from Duke against Alabama, I mean, Alabama puts up, 100 points on any given night? They were shut down. So that makes a lot of sense. One real quick question, Gianni, before we call it a show. You're sitting with 2 future bets. This is not a betting question. I'm just curious. You're sitting with 2 future bets, one on Auburn, they're plus 2.5 against Florida, and one on Houston, they're plus 5 against Duke. Had those 2 teams played against each other, you would be guaranteed one in the championship game. Now you have a shot at both, which would give you a monster ticket, or a shot at neither. Which way would you rather have had it? Which way would you rather it like this, or them play against each other and guarantee a beautiful hedge opportunity in the next round?
I like it better like this. I really do. Because I think if either of those played Duke, Duke would be the favorite. I'd have to lay some chalk on the money line a little more. It would be harder to maneuver. This way, I think one of these teams, and at least one of them, I think gets in there, Prez. I think it's probable that we even get both dogs. It's not out of the realm of possibility. One, like you said, is a 2-point dog. The other's a 5-point dog. Yeah, it's not like they're 10, 12, 14-point dogs. Yeah. So I like where I'm sitting with this. I hope it isn't 0. That much I can promise you, because I'm not looking at a hedge. I'm really not. Unless I love Florida or love Duke, which right now I don't yet, I have no reason to hedge it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Florida has shown some serious moxie so far this tournament. Anyway, what a show, Gianni. Thanks for doing this. So we moved the blackjack. The blackjack session was supposed to be last night. We moved it to next week. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yes, please.
Really appreciate you being on. What do you got to promote?
I got my MMA package already up with a 5% play and 2 more plays that I added to it. I love this 5%. Over the last 365 days, I believe I'm 16-5, over 70%, over 40 units of profit won on those 5%, and over 40% ROI. I haven't fired a 5% in MMA, I think, in the last 3 or 4 events. I'm very selective with those, but this one jumped off the page. I got my subscribers in it immediately. Line moved in our favor, but there's still a lot to take advantage of. That's why I stepped up and fired a 5, because I thought the implied win probability was just way, way, way off. The market seems to be agreeing with me. I do think the line's going to come back a little bit, but I like where we're sitting there. I'll have baseball up. We started the year on fire, staying selective. So far, so good. And, of course, you see, get those college baseball plays that have been, under the radar, but we've been doing good with those. The smaller market sports have been doing really well.
Man, Gianni The Greek, mic drop, get out of here. Love having you with us. What a show, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check out the Blue Line with me and Matthew Barnaby, Rob Ray. We talk NHL. Make sure to check out Puck Time. It's up. Both shows are up now. Carmine and myself talk NHL. We've got First Pitch still ahead. The Morning Wager with Power and Zeno. There's so much content over at WagerTalk TV. Please check it all out. Hit that like button. Comment on our videos. Subscribe to our channel. We will see you tomorrow, where we are going to do a very deep dive into the Final Four. Thank you, everyone.